It is. Then it won't be tabled. Question number 7, Clare Curran.
Thank you. Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Economic Development. What contribution, if any, will the ICT sector make to the government's stated 2011 budget commitment to 170,000 net new jobs being created by 2015?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, well, according to projections released by MBIE, and it's important to point out that these are never exact numbers because you're asking for individual occupational groups, but computing professionals is expected to grow by 8,000 in the 2010 to 2015 period, an annual growth rate of 4.4%, the highest of any profession. My hope is that that growth will be larger based on the anecdotal experience of a lot of people looking for ICT professionals at the moment. Orion Health, who recently created 100 new jobs, have said it's a very tight market. If we could find more people, it would mean more development. If we can't find the people, we'll have no choice but to hire people elsewhere. Mr Speaker, the government recognises the potential the ICT sector has to grow the New Zealand economy, which is why we're investing significant additional sums in tertiary courses in science and engineering over the next 4 years.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker. Is he aware that Telecom has said it will soon announce job cuts, quote, well into the hundreds, with industry indications as high as 1,500, making it the largest loss of jobs from a single New Zealand company in recent decades, at the very least? And what has he or his ministry done to mitigate the impact on the ICT workforce of these extraordinary job losses?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, I am aware of the Telecom, in general terms, Telecom's plan in terms of their job changes. Well, I'm actually very confident for the sector because the ICT sector is probably the sector with the highest demand that is unmet for skilled ICT workers from around the country. For example, there was an article in the New Zealand Herald as recently as last Friday talking about the fact there was one website showing 1,300 ICT vacancies in Auckland alone, with pay rates of up to $1,500 a day. So I'm confident, Mr Speaker, if the numbers that the member talks about, and I have no awareness of those numbers, but if the number member talks about are true, that those people will be very quickly snapped up in the ICT sector.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Given it was he who drove through the legislation to separate Telecom in 2011 to build his ultra-fast broadband network, and that it's been signalled that Telecom would need to shed staff to be competitive, where is his industry plan for job growth in this sector, and just how many jobs will it create?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, it may come as a surprise to the member that generally government strategies are not very good at creating jobs, but if it helps the member, can I say to the member in terms of the ICT sector, there's a very helpful release from the Statistics New Zealand organisation just 2 days ago, which points out how rapidly and quickly the ICT sector in this country is growing, now up to $23 billion worth of economic activity. Again, the member may wring her hands, but I am confident for the ICT sector in this country.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Does he regard Telecom's impending massive job losses as a matter for government intervention, and if not, why not?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
It's an interesting question, Mr Speaker. I'm not quite sure what the member would seek the government do. Ring Telecom up and stop them changing their work program. And obviously there is a concern when people have to lose their jobs in an economy. But the reality is that happens every year. 250,000 jobs roughly are created and lost every year in the New Zealand economy. The interesting thing is the left thinks you can stop the world all the time and halt everything in place. The centre-right understands it's about encouraging investment opportunities, and truly the ICT sector is one of those sectors that's growing very well and will quickly absorb whatever available people there are as a result of the telecom changes.
Supplementary
question, Clare Curran.
is he aware that his own ministry, embarrassed by the lack of a credible economic agenda by the government, is attempting to stage a late intervention in the telecom situation in order to dampen the effects of his government's failed economic policies?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, no, I'm not explicitly aware of that. What I can tell the member, though, is that I have spoken to the MB, and my office has spoken to MB saying, is there a way of actually facilitating the opportunities? Because the reality is that I go around the country all the time talking to ICT companies who cannot get enough staff. So I actually said to the ministry, there's an opportunity for you to get together with Telecom and those companies and see if you can arrange those people to have the opportunity to look into new jobs. I think that's a good thing, and that's actually something that this government should be encouraged to do.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Is it true?
Order.
Supplementary. Is it true that staff from MB have approached Telecom offering help with recruitment agencies? Is that not the job of Work and Income? And shouldn't he, as the Minister, be instructing his own ministry to develop an industry plan for the ICT sector?
Well, in terms of, I'm not sure which of those questions to answer, Mr Speaker, but a very straightforward point is that MB has quite possibly approached Telecom, because I've made an inquiry from my office to see if there was any way they could assist to match some of the people who may not be staying at Telecom to some jobs around the country which the organisation is aware of. And I think that's an excellent thing if it's possible. But again, the member is barking up the wrong tree here. The ICT sector has massive vacancies and massive demand for jobs. If MB can facilitate the information between those people for Telecom and those with other companies, I think that's a wonderful thing. Thank the member for the question.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Clare Curran.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table two documents. The first is a document from the Parliamentary Library which says that it has been able to, it's a report on job losses. It's a publication.
Then it's available to all members?
No, it's not a publication. Oh. It's an analysis, Mr Speaker.
It was done for the member.
Done for the member. Which has been unable to find any job losses over 1,000 in any New Zealand company.
Okay, leave us sought to table that Parliamentary Library document. Is there any objection? There is none.
Second document is the transcript from the financial review of the Ministry of Economic Development in December 2012, in which the Chief Executive...
That is definitely something that's available to all members.
It may be available to...
Then it's available to all members. They don't need it to fulfil their information. Okay. It's on the website, I'm advised. Question number 8, Dr. Jan Yang.
Mr Speaker.